The Schizophrenia Society had just adopted the iris as their symbol of hope, and it was in reference to Vincent van Gogh, who's posthumously been diagnosed as having mental illness. And then we came up with the acronym, so Iris Residential Inns and Services also spells iris, and it felt meant to be. Back in the 90s, there was many families that belonged to something called the Schizophrenia Society of Ontario, all with adult children living at home in their basement, and they kept cycling back into the hospital, psychiatrically unwell. So their group broke off to form its own charity, which is Iris Residential Inns and Services, and see if they could change that and stop this merry-go-round back and forth to the hospital. My dad was the president of that chapter, of that organization, and it was my mom's idea. He sat on different health councils and was always trying to get more housing, and she said, why don't we do it ourselves? My dad said, will you help us get the charity off the ground? And I said, sure. That was in 1999, and I never looked back.
I spent years wandering around the system with my relative trying to get supports for him. One year he was in hospital more days than he was out. And it was devastating because we all thought there's no hope. And one day I saw how he was living in his apartment, and I could not stop crying. And he turned to me and he said, okay, I think I'll go into Iris. And, because I knew Iris was the best place for him. He had the supports for him. And since he's been here, he hasn't been hospitalized once. And it's because of Iris and the medication support, the compliance. I can't tell you how grateful I am. And this is one of the reasons why I'm on the board, why I became chair of the board, because I can't do enough for Iris. That's how grateful our family is.
Just because you have a disease doesn't mean you shouldn't have your own space. A single room occupancy was our main goal. We thought that doubling or tripling up in some of the private homes is not a good quality of life. And I didn't know this, but we have some folks like to have a roommate. Okay, so that's nice. We have the flexibility, but there's other people do better if they're by themselves. The rooms are luxurious. We had furnished the rooms with donations from the community. So old hotels. In the beginning, we took in a lot of estates. So when you go in the rooms, they feel homey and I think pleasant.
Iris House it's not a hospital, it's an oasis. It's a home for the residents. When I talk with the residents as I enter the building or leave, everybody says thank you for just providing this home for us. It's the greatest place I've lived in.
And we've really hired great staff. Our assistant manager, she's a gem. It's a privilege to get to watch her interact with people. And then we've tried to find people that, have that same spirit, that they're accepting and they're kind and they're compassionate, but still some structure. We all have to eat at the same time and things. The home's got to run like a fine machine. So I think we balance it.
As I engage with some of the people here, they want to know a little bit about me. I ask them about themselves and whatever's current on TV, whether it's the Olympics or politics or whatever's going on, they want to talk about. Some of them want to talk about what they did early on in their lives for work, but everybody has an interesting story.
We've got really good donors. So Community Foundation given us money, $15,000 to pay for our activities, busing. So if the folks feel better and like themselves and are happy and they're not voice hearing, they'll come to the show. So Thursday night, there's a school bus pulls up, takes everybody to the mall, and they can choose 3 different movies.
Play bingo, go to bowling and race car driving, the little go-kart ride. It's just so wonderful to see a group of people with so many challenges having a great time with each other.
The first 10 years we were open, we found the folks, their hospitalizations 10 years prior to coming to us. And it was stunning. They had 800 days in hospital as a collective versus, I think, 16,000 prior in that same period. And so if you cost those out in today's dollars, since we've been open, it's like $34 million in savings.
We know what the cost of a hospital room is at $1,300 or $1,400 a day. For a psychiatric bed, it's even more than that. We know what the cost is for a long-term care housing facility is. And then we know what the cost at Iris is at $69.50. So the burden would be multi-millions a year on an ongoing basis. So we are in effect saving both the city and the province a dramatic amount of money.
My concern now is that we have to find a way to sustain Iris, because what would happen if Iris closed suddenly? 67 people, including my relative, where would they go? What would they do? What would their life be like? It's mind-boggling. I can't even go there. So we're doing everything possible to make sure that doesn't happen.
The funding is delivered through the City of Windsor as the agency, and the current per diem is $60 per day. Our estimates are the minimum per diem to operate is $69.50 a day, which creates a shortfall of approximately $150,000 to $200,000 a year. There's an ongoing need from the city, from the province, and from the federal government ultimately. And we are trying to be in touch, educate those levels of government also, and then also reach out to our corporate and foundations and individuals. We need to have a capital reserve fund so that if the roof caved in, we wouldn't close.
You'll get your bang for your buck. There's no top-heavy management here. We really try to keep everything streamlined and push every penny out we can to the folks. And if we get this building all set up, then we can start working on a second building and helping more people. And I really think we're a model that can be used across the province. And we're down in Little Windsor, and not many people know about us, but I know we're on to something here, and we're doing something really good.